each other as competitors, not for jobs or for accomplishments, which I think can be a good thing.
Those in favor of skipping this part, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Great, glad we could all agree.
What's good, YouTube? It's Eyegasmical here.
Pippy.
Megan.
If you didn't know already, I am a feminist.
I would have never guessed.
Yeah, it's not like you had the word feminism written somewhere, blatantly obvious, indicating what you believe.
You'd be surprised, but a lot of people actually take feminism the wrong way. People think that feminists hate men, think that women are more superior, think that women should have more rights than men.
Oh gee, I wonder why.
It's okay, Pippy. I'm here to mansplain it for you. You see, while they believe the patriarchy exists, that should surely benefit men and keep you, the wench, in the kitchen, it in fact does nothing but fuck men over, at every possible opportunity, especially the legal system.
But that's completely not it.
Yeah, of course it isn't.
Am I the only one really distracted by those hand gestures?
Actually, feminism is about equality.
Yeah, I'm not doing this. No. Fuck the police. Eat babies. Eat babies.
Oi, if I've got to suffer through this, you fucking well do too. While you're out, get me a sandwich.
And if you don't believe you, I'll
Did you just say if you don't believe you?
Yeah, that's what she said.
give you a few questions that you can think about to yourself to see if you really are a feminist and didn't even realize it.
Nah, I checked. I'm pretty sure I'm not a feminist. Sorry.
I consider checking to see if you're a feminist in the same way as checking to see if your dog has fleas. If the dog has fleas, you do everything you can to exterminate them. The fleas, that is, not the dog. The dog's okay. The fleas are not. In this metaphor, feminism is the fleas.
Phrases like, that's a woman's job, go make me a sandwich, you belong in the kitchen.
Nobody has genuinely said that since last century. I know this may be unfortunate to hear, since you can't feel oppressed and all, but...
Admittedly, I have been saying it. Well, the last one. Make me a sandwich. Because it's a woman's job.
Let the boys do all the work, you throw like a girl, you play ball like a girl.
You repeat yourself like a girl.
You're such a girl. Now make me a sandwich.
If a lot of those sexist phrases bother you, then you're most likely a feminist. You believe that both genders should be treated equally.
You just said both genders. That's not very intersectional feminist of you. You do your t-shirt a great disservice, and I think you should remove it and replace it with one with misogynist on. Or misandrist. Misogynist? Misandrist? Fuck it. Dickhead. Dickhead, that's the perfect t-shirt for you.
There's nothing wrong with that. Now, the definition of feminism has always been evolving.
And yet you all seem to hide behind the same one. Funny that.
But I think that feminism is about acknowledging that women are people too.
Unless you live in Saudi Arabia, nobody is saying that women are not people. This is the current year.
Current year aside, there's also India, Yemen, Iraq, Pakistan, Nepal, Peru, Turkey, and Sudan. Thought you ought to know, feminist. Your t-shirt was probably made in one of those countries.
We should have just as much rights as men do.
Unless you live in somewhere like Saudi Arabia, you do!
I think I could diagnose this one, Pippy. I'm almost certain she studies gender studies and has never actually studied geography and looked at the world and realized there's something else outside of America.
One word that I really dislike is ladylike. I shouldn't have to act a certain way or dress a certain way. I just want to be able to do and say and wear whatever I want without being judged.
Unless you're breaking a law, I think you can do all of this already. Maybe you've been living inside that gender studies bubble for too long. The real world exists, you know. We got Starbucks on the outside too. It's still fucking disgusting.
People would always ask me why I always wear boy clothes, why I'm always dressing like a dude. But just because I'm a girl doesn't mean I have to be wearing dresses and pink and lace and floral and all these girly things.
No one cares.
I just want to be looked at the same way despite what my gender is. Sometimes boys can get away with doing stupid things just because of that phrase. Boys will be
Just
boys.
before Pippy toilet-splains to you, I thought it wise to tell you now, the worst critic of a woman is another woman, or themselves. We are all self-conscious to a certain degree about how we are perceived by others, but men just don't give a fuck. Well, most. Betas don't count. Take it away, Pippy.
It's based on the wild and adventurous nature most little boys have. Who's more likely to break mom's face? Sally and the Barbie doll she wanted for Christmas, or Joey and the baseball bat he wanted for Christmas? And you're overlooking the implications of the phrase. When boys will be boys is Mom's reaction to Joey breaking her vase with the bat. She's not going to give him any consequences for his actions and teach him right from wrong. She's just giving up on him. Sally should be glad her parents care about her growing up without a criminal record because they're neglecting her brother in her favor.
I really feel like I've learned something here today. Thank you for toilet-splaining that to me.
Not fair to girls, because if we did the same thing, we'd get looked at really differently. It would be inappropriate or rebellious, which really isn't that fair. You know, a lot of people think that women are only good for one thing. Girls shouldn't have to feel self-conscious of their body.
Society should change because some girls are experiencing normal teenage behaviors. Wait, aren't boys also self-conscious about themselves?
Yeah, but they get told to toughen up, princess.
Shh. The quiet must never know.
Constantly think about what men want.
Bang bitches, make money, get sandwiches. Life is so hard.
Just be you.
And what if it turns out that those girly girls are being themselves?
Shh, Pippy. The narrative. All women, everywhere, at every time, are oppressed, even though women have it better than men by law.
Even with raising children, why does it have to be a girl is pink and a boy is blue? Why should boys only play with toy cars or action figures and girls have to play with baby dolls and Barbies?
Boys don't have to play with action figures and cars, much like girls don't have to play with dolls and those kitchen sets which always amuse me. They choose to. This has been tested with marketing for decades. It's not some socially ingrained thing where it's, oh look, the girl really wants to play with the car but she's being oppressed so she now has to play with the frying pan. No, it's a case of marketing has found out that boys like these toys, girls like these toys. It works, so they sell to those genders. Two genders. You know, the two you mentioned earlier because you're such a good intersectional feminist.
Do you even market, bro?
I'll have you know that I played with both.
Well, that explains why you're all fucked up.
It really does.
One day I'd be wearing baggy jeans and some old sneakers, and the next day I'd be wearing a cute dress.
Nobody cares about what you're wearing, you motherfucking dumbass!
See what you did there? You just broke my toilet. I don't like that. That's not acceptable. We men, we get one safe space. It's the bathroom, where we sit on our throne. And look what you did to mine. You triggered the fuck out of it. For shame.
I just think it's important for all you young women out there to understand that you don't have to shape yourself into the definition of a woman.
Biology does that for you.
People make comments about how women can only cook and stay in the kitchen, do laundry.
Holy shit, do you live in the 1950s?
That red thing in her hair had made me wonder if maybe she'd been watching too much Little House on the Prairie.
But it's beginning to really change. Especially on social media, it's beginning to get a lot of attention lately.
And in some instances, we're getting it force-fed down our throats by some guy called Paul Feig, whose last name literally translates from German to cowardly.
You know, we have Triss and Katniss and Hermione Granger.
Great! So to empower women, you need more fictional characters!
The modern female heroines.
Alright, we get it. Women can do shit. We've known this for hundreds and thousands of years. Now can you shut up about it? Please?
And they become people that we've really looked up to. Not to mention Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Jennifer Lawrence, Chloe Grace Moretz, and Cara Delevingne, who are total feminists.
Those people are perfect examples of the way feminism should be. Super rich, super famous women telling poor women how they are oppressed. Jennifer Lawrence did this once, and you mentioned her. She said that Hollywood needed to address the pay inequality in Hollywood when she made $52 million that year. Melissa McCarthy is getting a reported $14 million for the Ghostbusters movie. Now, feminism pushes for equal pay for equal work, so surely by that logic, the other three main female cast members should be getting the same amount of money. I doubt they will though, because Hollywood is a meritocracy.
They all suck.
Girls that we will always look up to, and are really making a difference about how people view women.
Because that doesn't make them look like money-grubbing whores at all.
I didn't realize how much of a feminist I was until not too long ago. I always knew that sexist jokes always bothered me, and it always made me want to punch people in the face.
I'm sure there's a type of humour out there that someone doesn't find funny. It applies to everyone, to a certain extent, unless your name is Bundy or Fiffin. Now, I would say I don't find a type of humour funny. Do I now want to support a movement that would actively seek to censor it? No. Instead, I go and watch a different comedian. I don't get offended, I just don't laugh. And I think that's a waste of time when you're going to see something that's supposedly funny.
How mentally unstable do you have to want to physically assault an innocent person for saying something you don't like?
It would be so much simpler for you delicate little teacups to set up Patreons. We would all be better off if you just set up Patreons. Just like I have.
Kind of like the same thing as racism, like being judged by your skin color or where you're from. It's pretty much the same thing, just being judged by a different gender.
And this is a bit of a double-edged sword, because I can say I don't care about your race, but then you'll throw back at me, but my race and my heritage is important. But then you'll say how it isn't important, and then I'm like, what?
And if you didn't know already, I go to school for culinary arts and I also work in catering. Phrases like, you belong in the kitchen. I go to school for culinary arts and you belong in the kitchen. Culinary arts and you belong in the kitchen.
School for Culinary Arts. Is this some kind of prep school to be a Subway sandwich artist? Pippy, you want to add anything? Worth it.
But sometimes you can show how gender typing is shown throughout the workplace. Like sometimes people think that I can't carry a heavy pot just because I'm a girl.
I dare you to carry my sister.
I'd like to see how she picks up the pot. I know a lot of people who try and they don't bend with their knees when they should and they end up putting their back out. But go ahead and lift Pippy's sister. I dare you.
I double dog dare you, motherfucker.
And in catering, I do a lot of events and parties and weddings and all that type of shenanigans.
IDONOTCARE, kill yourself.
Is it me, or does what she do sound very much like a kind of gender role? Most guys I know, certainly the toxic ones, they don't care about parties, because what they do is they just whip the barbecue out, sit outside, crack a few beers out, and we're done. She's really breaking that ceiling. Yes.
And as a culinarian, you'd think that I would be one of the chefs, but for the most part, I'm put a lot as a server because women are more likely to be friendly.
Stop doing the air quotations. All these things have been proven to be true. Hell, there's a bakery in town where I live. All the men work in the back with the ovens. All the girls work by the counters because they are far more presentable. They are friendlier, they're nicer, more polite, easier to deal with. But you go down the road to the butchers and the fishmongers, the women work in the delicatessen sides. The men work on the actual hacking, cutting, slashing, aggressive, beating the crap out of their corpse side. Is that how butchers work?
Be more presentable to be in front of the house. But that's definitely not true because I would much rather be in the back of the kitchen.
No, this is true, because women have estrogen, which makes them more passive and gentle than their male counterparts who have testosterone, which makes them more, violent and aggressive. You do not represent all women. Because you say you are this, does not automatically make almost all women this.
How do you, a woman toilet, know this? I don't recall giving you books on biology. Who's been teaching my toilet stuff?
I'm not gonna lie, this is my customer service smell.
Is it wrong that when the wind changes, I want you to keep doing that? Because honestly, that face makes you look a lot more appealing and easier to deal with. In fact, I'd say it suits everything you've said so far, but on everyone else's face when looking at you.
You should probably keep smiling like that. You look a lot less retarded.
Yeah, that's it for my video. I hope you guys liked it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and also subscribe.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I'm going to let Pippy explain why she didn't first before I reel off a list of things that bothered me about this video.
Your jump cuts make Onision look like you can make 2 coherent sentences in a row. Your arguments are utter cow shit. You start off the video by saying, actually, it's about equality, but then spend a whole video talking about women's issues while playing this song in the background.
It has become a bit of a cliche that when those that declare themselves feminists put a video online, they don't explain in specifics, they explain in a certain vagueness, with enough grey area so that we have to interpret what they mean. They disable comments, and they get phenomenal numbers of thumbs down because, well, we're all misogynists. In your video you use far too many jump cuts, and it was very difficult to splice it. There are others who do it where they overlay the sound. It makes it virtually impossible. Justin Dennis, I'm looking at you. Your arguments were all based on gender roles, and not one of them was a valid one. It all comes down to personal choice, and you have made the decision to be the kind of person you are. You don't need a movement to help support you in this endeavour. However, you have only supported a part of the movement because you've made it abundantly clear there are only 2 genders, which you're right on. You got that right. Congratulations! Now make me a fucking sandwich.
Not even the shirt you're wearing mentions equality. You are fully convinced it's 1910 and that society still acts like they did then. You are fucking retarded.